In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the fillet tool. There's actually two different versions of the fillet tool. There's a two-dimensional one and a three-dimensional one, and for part number 8 of the 11 shapes, I will show you how to use both of those to quickly and easily make this part. So the first thing I'm going to do is get into my documents, and I'm going to get into my 11 shapes, and wait for a second. And as you can see, there's kind of like a little base right here with rounded edges. These are actually called grounds, but we use the fillet tool in CAD to do both of that. We also have this one right here where it's a rounded, filled-in curve on both these sides right here. Now we can actually use the fillet tool for that. So I'm going to use the 3D fillet for these two parts, and then on this front base part I'm going to use the sketch, the 2D sketch fillet. So I'm going to create another part. I'm going to actually start my first sketch from the top. I'm going to try to have my sketch match what I would want my drawing to be. So looking at it from the top, there's kind of this rectangle, and I can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so dimension 2 inches by an inch and a half. If I look at these curves right here, I can see that they start from straight, they go to a curve within one square, and then they are off to the other side right here. So where the curve starts and ends is completely on and within this square. And so I can actually look over and see that I have the center right here, and it's 0.25 away from both sides. That's one square, so my fillet is 0.25. So what I can do is I can go up here to the top, and there's something that looks like a couple dashed lines and then a curve. So that's actually what we're looking for. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on a corner, and this icon that comes up that looks like a mouse and then has a green check where the left click is, that's telling me that I can click numerous places and it's all going to kind of do the same. So I want both of these corners right here to be filleted, and so I will hit enter, and then it's going to ask me what is the radius I want. And in this case, the default value 0.25 shows up, and that's exactly what I want, so I'm just going to leave it exactly that way. And notice that these actually both match. If I were to change that for some reason, they would both change for me. And that's kind of the right way to do it because it's easier. You don't have to change all of the dimensions over and over again. So that is the two-dimensional sketch fillet. I can now rotate my view, extrude, and I'm going to extrude the 0.5 inches according to the part. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make this top part right here, and I'm going to ignore these fillets going on. And so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is to the center of this circle. And so I can see that I'm actually going to go 8, 9 total. So it's 7 to the middle of the circle, and then the radius of this circle is 0.5. So I'm going to make a sketch. I'm going to do so on this back area away from these fillets that I've already done. I'm going to look at it straight on, and it was a rectangle, and then the top of it kind of transitioned into a circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make what I call a tombstone, and I'm going to start with the center with the midpoint of this line, and I'm going to move my mouse straight over to the end point, that corner. And what that does is it kind of locks those two together. Then I can dimension it. I knew that it was 0.5 from this side and 0.5 from this side. and then from here, the center to the top of the base was, and I'm 1.75, but another thing I can also do is say 7 times 0.25, and that's going to tell me the answer as well. Now if you notice, I did not put in the diameter or radius of this circle, and that's because I've already defined this width as 2 inches in a previous sketch. Half inch here, half inch there, that means this has to be 1 inch. And so it's actually fully constrained. An option you have is to use the trim tool and get rid of the extra lines and shapes, but that's actually not required. And so what I'm going to do is finish my sketch, get into my 3D view, hit the extrude button, and this is going the opposite way. And I also want these profiles as well. And then I'm going to go 0.5. And there is an area up here on the top that sticks out even further, but with an extrusion you can only go a specific distance. So I'm going to finish that up right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my fillet tool to put in those 2 fillets, and then I'll just kind of finish that part. And so here we can see that I'm not in a sketch, I'm in the 3D feature time, and I'm going to hit fillet, and in this case the radius was 0.5, and I know that because again the arc is all within 1, 2, and 1, 2, and so this is a 0.5, 2 square, 0.5 radius for this arc right here. And so I'm going to click here, that's one of them. I'll use my view cube to rotate and click on the other one, and those are the only 2 I need for this, and so there we go. That is my 3D fillet. The last part to finish this sketch is to create a portion right here. This is kind of a little bonus I'll show you. I could dimension and I could calculate that, but the easiest way to actually make this circle is I'm going to move my mouse, get to that center of this arc, and you can see that it shows up there. Move my mouse straight over, and just like I did before, I'm going to click. You can see that little tangent constraint showed up. It has the right dimension, it's in the right spot. So I'm actually done, no dimensions needed. I can extrude that, the 0.5 that I need to. And you'll also notice that I didn't use any holes. So I'm actually going to create a couple sketches to create the holes for this part. And so in this case, let's see, I've got to make a point, put it right there, dimension it 1 inch from the side, and according to this, the center is 1, 2, so 0.5 from the front. There we go, that's the center, it's good. I'm going to make another sketch right here, and I'm going to, again, move it flat, make a point, try to find that center. It's fully defined because I just said that it matches the other center that exists. And then from there, I'm going to make a simple hole. See if I can do both of these at once. And I'm going to go 0.5 is the diameter and make it go through. And let's see what that does. Oh, that didn't quite work. I guess that's going to have to be one hole at a time. There we go. One hole there, and then got rid of this sketch. Put my point on there. That's the easiest one. Use my hole feature, click on my center. There we go. Looking good. So there is that part right there using the two-dimensional sketch fillets and then the three-dimensional feature fillets.